shadows creep, stories rise as the campfire reaps. Jonathan's voice a haunting thrill, with every tale he bends on will. Echoes whisper, the night draws near. By the firelight, our fears collide. The Carolina storyteller, our guide. Through the spooky, the feathering fight. Fables of darkness igniting the night. Of the night.
Hey, folks, welcome to yet another live episode of the show I haven't named yet. I'm just doing where I bring on a whole bunch of friends and we have a whole bunch of fun and we talk about a whole bunch of interesting things. This week we've got a great show lined up for you. Got a whole bunch of surprises, got some very interesting things. Let's not forget, we've got round two, that's right, of the Cryptid South Carolina Championships. Who's going to be the winner? We're going to find out next week. But this week, we're going to find out who's going to be the winner between the Knot Deer and the Plat Eye. We'll get to that later. First, let me introduce my wonderful guests. First up, we're going to introduce from the band Midgard, a guitarist, very talented individual. I've known him for years. He's married to one of my best friends in the entire world. I call her my little sister. And this guy is just amazing. He's awesome. Mr. Travis Boyls. Travis,
What's
welcome to
up?
the show.
What's up, Facebook? Or if you're watching on YouTube later on, what's up, YouTube?
Next up, we have coming from the NDT podcast, very talented individual, very fun to listen to, knows his stuff about wrestling. Be careful because he might hit you with a tombstone pile driver. The one, the only, Corey Bishop. Corey, welcome to the show.
What's going on, everybody? How are you?
It's great having you here, Corey, with us. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. And last but certainly not least, the queen of paranormal investigation when it comes to getting to the truth. And I'm not talking about the truth about whether or not there's a ghost or not, but about whether or not somebody is lying to you about there being a ghost. She has been going and digging up the dirt on some of the biggest names in paranormal investigation. And she still goes out and investigates herself from Truth or Demons. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Stevie Summers. Stevie, welcome to the show. It's great to have you. How you doing
Hi,
tonight?
everybody. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you guys with me here tonight. Now, start off the show, I've got to tell you guys a story. So this week was Thanksgiving, and I hope everybody here had a great Thanksgiving. Did you guys have a good one?
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you.
Pretty chill, yeah.
Lots of food and friends and family. And you know, some people they don't even celebrate it as Thanksgiving. They celebrate it as the day a bunch of white people stabbed Native Americans in the back. And it's
Indigenous
absolutely
Day,
true.
yeah.
That's what happened. Yeah. You know,
Some people are rebranding it Indigenous Day or no, that's Christopher Columbus Day. Never mind. I'm an idiot.
so just so you know, Corey, Eli is challenging you for the title. So, you know,
Yeah,
and,
let's go, baby.
you and Chuckles are going to have to get it on, it seems like.
I hope you got a theme song ready there, Eli.
But yes, you know, Thanksgiving was a wonderful time, and it was great. And I've got a story from Thanksgiving. One thing I want to mention that all my guests have in common is that they are all actors on the show Valmont, the Black Ravens Chronicles. Travis is playing Daniel Michelson. His character doesn't show up till episode 6, so
Yeah.
you won't be hearing Travis for a few months, but he has a big part in it. Corey is our name character. He is a freak Valmont, and man, how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm just really excited to get to the bottom of everything that's happening in Black Raven. That's all I'm telling you.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. And Stevie, speaking of getting into the bottom of everything and investigative prowess, you're playing Lieutenant Sarah Klein with the Black Raven Police Department. And is there some kind of connection between Sarah and one of the other characters?
Um, I'm not sure if I can say, but I definitely can say I find it super entertaining. The answer to that question is super entertaining to me.
That's awesome. And of course, Trav, what can you say about Daniel? I know you haven't had a chance to really uh, get into him on the table reads, but uh, big giant werewolf that runs a bar.
Yeah, he's a
How are you approaching that?
well, you say he's a prime werewolf, so I think that's kind of like the leader, prime wolf leader. He's he's very protective. He's kind of like a protector, father-like figure, very big. He's got a nice deep voice. So, I don't know. Like, I don't, how am I approaching it? I'm kind of looking towards some other characters that kind of are similar to this, like Goliath from Gargoyles, the old Disney cartoon.
Ooh, yeah.
So that's
That's
kind
a
of
great
that's
character.
kind of
It's a great
looking
character.
like that's some inspiration, but then kind of like some other. I don't know. Kind of go scene by scene. Like this first scene, you're going to hear me yelling at some kids or whatever. That's how I open it. So I just kind of like think, how would I sound yelling at my own kids when they're misbehaving or whatever? And it's kind of how I go from there. And then
it's going to be fun.
It will be. I've actually had a lot of fun just rehearsing the lines over and over again in the basement, just yelling the opening line right out the top of my lungs, trying to make it sound all snarly and growly and whatever.
Gotta get that growl out. Yes.
Death
Burn
metal
It
growl.
Down by Linkin Park, Corey, is what EC says he's going to use for his intro music. So he's coming for you.
There you go. Get hyped up, baby.
And of course, you guys are all excited because Valmont, the Black Raven Chronicles, we are 8 hours away from the episode going live. Are you guys, anybody nervous? Stevie, you don't show
I'm
up
so
till
excited.
episode 2. But you guys worried, nervous, excited?
So excited.
I'm excited to see the response to it. Because, this is my first voice acting project. This is my first acting project in general since high school. I haven't been involved in any of that at all lately. So
I used to do theater in high school, and this is my first voice acting project.
Yeah.
I usually do music projects, so
I'm just curious to see how everyone responds to it, and if they think I did an okay enough job.
I agree with that.
Well, we are going to find out tonight. Granted, the Patreons, the Patreon members, they got to listen to it a little early, and their responses were all that it was great. They've liked it, they've enjoyed it. So, we've had a few people that have said, "Hey, this is great. We like this," and they're excited for episode 2. So to get into the show, we've talked about Valmont, but this isn't the Valmont show. Granted, I have a lot of Valmont guests, and that's because those are the only people that I can get drug in here.
there's
But
like a last
get
minute
away from when it's last minute and I don't have guests, I'm like, "Hey, guys, get over here." That's the joy of being the director and the producer of the shows.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the story that I have for you guys, Thanksgiving Day, I'm on Facebook and I'm scrolling through Facebook, and on this thing called Berkeley County Growth and Development on Facebook, somebody has said, "Did anybody get that screenshot?" That was the thing. And so we go on and see what it is, and we see the screenshot. And the screenshot is a woman coming up and claiming, so and so has gone around and said that I'm going to rob people and that I had sex with my brother. Well, that was one time, and we were drunk, and we said it was never going to happen again. And she didn't need to go and tell everybody that. And that immediately started me down a rabbit hole that entertained me for the entire evening.
Oh my God.
It just went so far south because apparently these two sisters have been looking for their brother. They found their brother, and one of them got drunk and slept with their brother. And the other one got mad and blew it up all over Facebook. And so the one that did the bad thing kind of came out and just like outed herself to the world. and was like, she's saying this and she's saying that, and it's not true. It's da 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 da. And this rabbit hole just went downhill. At some point later, she admitted to 10 years ago sleeping with her stepbrother and all kinds of insane, crazy things. She's not wearing any underwear. I'm like, oh my God, this was my Thanksgiving entertainment. It was better than the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And it made me realize South Carolina is the new Florida.
So this was one of those situations where you found the post, you read the first part of it, you're like, all right, hold on, let me go get my drink. You came back and then went through the 1,000 comments that were underneath it, didn't you?
Actually, when I started, it had like 400 and some odd. When I ended, it had over 1,000 comments. But yes, because it was actively ongoing. So I actually had to watch and go back. But yeah, I had my drink. I sat down and I read all of the comments. And the only thing that I could say underneath it, I did leave one comment, and it was that South Carolina is the new Florida. That is, I just, and you know, like Eli here says, is imagine admitting that publicly. I'm sure that she's thinking I'm going to get out in front of it, and I think that I applaud her for doing that. You know, she got out in front of it. She said, "Yeah, this thing happened. It was a mistake. I did something stupid. Blah blah blah." But then she just doubled down on it and tripled down on it every chance she got. If somebody was talking bad about her, she was just coming. You know what? What? It's happened. It's done. What are you going to do? You know, you're going to laugh at me? Fine, laugh at me.
This is her stepbrother or her biological brother?
Well, see, she doesn't know if he's actually stepbrother or biological. That's the crazy thing is that
kind of makes a difference.
They don't actually know what their relationship actually is. They're still trying to figure it out. And, you know, of all the crazy things that I've heard over all the time and whatever, this was the craziest is that she's not sure. They've been looking for him for 18 years. They found him after 18 years. And like reading into it, like there are some issues where I'm like, is this an abuse situation where abuse has been going on? Or these things kind of seem a little crazy.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that I want to be, you know, making fun of this. And
I'm not sure I would come out and tell everybody that.
But I mean, that's got to take some like Eli here says, you know, that takes a lot to stand up and say, hey, look, this happened. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to try to. But she like doubled down on a lot of things. She really did. She was
Guess it's time for a 23andMe
going
test.
hardcore into it. And then somebody popped up and like, you know, the sister that started all this, because, you know, one sister out of the first sister who came out and said, fine, you want to out me? Yes, it happened. Like the sister that started all this, she's apparently having fivesomes and all kinds of crazy things. And like they just outed her laundry. Like somebody just outed her laundry all out in there. And apparently she deleted her Facebook page in the middle of all this because like it backfired. So I guess for the girl who came out and admitted that this happened, it worked for her because the sister that outed her in the first place kind of got trashed. I mean, she got destroyed. But yeah, that was my Thanksgiving evening entertainment. I thought I would share that with you guys and let you know how South Carolina has basically just become the new Florida. We are just.
That's so wild. It's only a matter of time before it's in your news headlines.
Yes.
We're waiting for Live 5 News at some point to just show up in Monk's Corner and be like, hey guys, welcome to the Dade County of South Carolina. You know, I'm pretty sure we're going to get Disney World and the Universal Studios nearby really soon. And last I checked, Donald Trump is planning on buying a golf course here. You know, we're turning into the new Florida. That's exactly what's going to happen. Ron DeSantis is already trying to make his bid for governor here.
Yeah. That's like the stepbrother, stepsister porn. You always wonder what happens after this is done. Now we know. This is the sequel.
This is what happens after. This is the
sequel.
There's a lot wrong with society that's what's popular in that industry. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. That's crazy.
So, like reducing the taboo of incest by like 4% every year.
Yeah. So it's very
Yeah.
Jerry Springer, and I actually am working on a case right now in the paranormal where I'll be covering it, and it's a well-known Warrens case, but the players in it that are still around today should be like the main episode for Jerry Springer. It is so wild. The stuff that I'm hearing and being told, and the amount of family interactions that shouldn't be happening, including
God.
some interesting incest stories. So yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
there's a lot
Stevie,
of crazy stuff surrounding the Warrens and some of the drama that's happened with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
if you guys haven't listened to Stevie's show, Stevie, you seem to get into, you seem to find a lot of the crazy side of the paranormal things that things that are going on in the back rooms that we're not supposed to know about, that are really, really the real story. And you seem to be exposing a lot of it. And lately, you've caught some flack for that, haven't you?
Oh yeah. It's not too like it's very concentrated. Um, I guess you'd call it backlash. It's only from the people that I've outed for their behavior, and then whoever follows them. So if someone, I have a lot of people that have, it's become a thing to come to me when they are experiencing some sort of abuse in the community, whether it be harassment, physical abuse, emotional abuse, anything like that. And I let victims tell their stories, and that always results in the person being accused, instead of trying to talk about what happened, they just want to come at me and tell me how wrong I am and that I'm a demon. That's my favorite one. Or that I'm someone I'm not. I've been, someone threatened to dox me, and they said they're going to tell everyone my real name and my parents' history, which they've got it all wrong. They think my name is Michelle, which is really funny.
Oh, Michelle, I mean, Stevie, sorry, I didn't want to say your real name, Michelle. Oh, I did it again. No, no. How do I keep messing up? So anyway, Michelle, I gotta stop that. Stevie, your name is Stevie. Her name is not Michelle. It's Stevie. People, don't harass Michelle, please. I mean
Yeah, leave
Stevie.
poor Michelle alone.
But yeah. So these people, they claim that they want to have a chance to speak their piece, but they don't seem to be coming to you to speak their piece. They be coming to you to fight.
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
think
I
if
already
they had a
offered him a
chance to
chance
just
to.
um, do you think maybe they just feel like you're a confrontative source and don't think that they can speak their piece on your show without being in a confrontation? Is that what you think it is?
It's funny that you say that, because before I did my most recent exposing of someone's behavior, I reached out to that person first, because I'm getting a lot of stuff in my inbox of things he's being accused of. So I reached out to him and I said, "Hey, I am a neutral party. I want you to talk about what's going on. You say you're being harassed by all these people who have you as their common denominator for harassment and abuse. So I would like you to have this neutral platform to say what's going on." And he refused. He said he had proof but didn't want to share it. And all he wanted to do was attack the victims some more. So, and lie to me.
Yeah.
My favorite part was how he told me he commended me for what I'm doing, and said he was the reason that my previous case is, which was I outed a pedophile, and he took credit for it. And I thought it was really funny. And then he told me specifically that he distanced himself from the people that platformed that pedophile, but he is in very close workings with them. Like, he does really, really close business with them. So he just like flat out lied to me. So he wasn't on my
Yeah,
show.
and
The victims were.
let's just mention that this pedophile guy that you have outed, and the evidence is out there. This guy goes by the name of Joe King, I think, isn't it? Which I
Mhm.
think is a joke, honestly. But this guy, he's out there. He's trying to pass himself off as being a paranormal survivor from a major issue, where now everybody who was involved in it is dead. So he's the only one that can tell the story, and he claims that he's tied into the story and everything. But he claims he's got his and some blah 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 whatever. But he does have a history. He does have a criminal past. His criminal past is out there. He refuses to acknowledge it or accept it. He acts like it's something that didn't happen. and then he likes to go on the attack on you, which is hilarious because it's like every time you do something and you don't mention him, he's in your comments. I love looking at it because it's just like this guy is spare parts, bud.
Yeah.
Like, totally.
Yeah, and
But
he
but
he tells everyone that the crime that he was convicted of, he's going to be exonerated for.
well, then when
Okay.
that happens, he has the ability to kind of stand up, right, guys?
I'd say
Yeah.
so.
He's exonerated, but you have
I
to
told
be
him
exonerated.
when I told him when that happens, you show me that evidence and I'll put it out there for everyone to know. But until then, you are still that convicted criminal.
Yeah, I mean, once you have a conviction, there's a thing called innocent until proven guilty. But once you're proven guilty, you have been proven guilty. You can claim innocence all you want. The proof proves that you're guilty. Now you have to prove yourself innocent. It's you can't have it both ways.
Yeah,
Now
and
you've
just
been
to be
having
clear,
issues. Uh-huh.
that thing he is guilty of was harming a child under the age of 14 in a bad way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's not a good guy. And he's constantly harassing you, which makes him an even worse guy. Because honestly, there are better things you can do with your time. Hang on, we got a comment over here.
Sounds like
Well,
a
since Jerry Springer is
typical
dead,
narcissist.
Yeah, it's definitely Jerry Springer.
yeah. So Eli is
Jerry
recommending that we
Springer
try to
from the
get in touch with Jerry Springer from the afterlife to get him to do a show,
That's
and share it
genius.
with the living. I've got to agree with Eli on that. We should try and get Jerry Springer in there. Thank you, man.
You
I
could
love
channel.
that comment.
Yeah, someone could just channel Jerry Springer through a Ouija board.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now there is a lady that's been harassing you here lately, that's demanding kind of to have some of your time, but the way she's coming at you, you don't want to do it on your show, right?
Right, because she doesn't make sense. What she is freaking out about is something she's created in her own head. It's not a real situation. And she's rallied these people to back her and accuse me of not being a better journalist because I won't have her story. But she immediately came at me with some nonsense about my guests annihilating her character, which did not happen, and threatened to sue me over it. So I can't I can't have a conversation with you if the first thing you're going to do is threaten to sue me for something that didn't happen.
Well, if somebody mediated the conversation, would you be willing to?
I don't think so, because it didn't involve her what happened. So there's no point really. It's kind of a moot point for her to speak on anything because it wasn't about her. She was a character in reference to a much bigger story. It was just kind of like a point of reference for time and who all was involved.
So she's not even involved in the story that you were talking about.
No.
All right. Okay. Well,
Actually,
I was gonna say, if you wanted to clear the air with them.
Well, if anything, she herself is a victim of the person that we outed, but she is now in partnership with them coming after me. So there's no conversation to be had because she doesn't she buddied up with the person that our victims are worried about.
That sounds really skeevy when you partner up with a bad guy. That's just like
Especially when you're a
they
victim
say
of
that
a
in
bad
a horror movie you
There must
should
be some
connect with the villain.
manipulation going on there, I would think.
Lots. Yeah,
Yeah,
lots and lots of that.
if she's his victim and then she's partnering with him.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
he
think you're-
convinced other people to dox her and her private history, and then she had a whole thing over that, and then now she is now friends with him again.
Well, I've been listening to your show and I'd heard this, and I was going to make this offer to you and to I think his name is Rob, and I was going to make it to her, but if she's not part of the conversation, then fine. I was going to say, if he wants to have it out so bad, he's more than welcome to come on my show, be part of this show, and I'll dedicate the last 30 minutes for him to have a chance to say his piece. But he's going to play by my rules.
Well, I will tell you right now, you are not the first person to offer that, so I really appreciate these offers. And I know from the last person that offered what they went through that he will not go for it. He wants to be on his turf. He wants you to come on his show, his Zoom. He wants to talk to you on the phone prior so he can feel you out and see how. My opinion on that is he wants to see how much he can manipulate you, because he tried to manipulate me, then he tried to manipulate that guest, that other person that tried to reach out to him on behalf of me and be a mediator like that, because it's a good idea. Any rational person would accept a mediation offer, and he won't. He tries to spin things. He tries to he then tried to have this person manipulate my guests, and it just, he won't play. It's his game. Like, he won't cooperate in a resolution. He is playing his weird game, and it's up
He
to him.
wants to be in control of the whole situation.
Yes.
So he
Now-
won't
now-
do that. Yeah, that's typical. This guy sounds like a narcissist.
That's the
Okay, now-
consensus is yes.
This is the consensus, but I'm just saying, Rob, if you're listening, okay, look at me, Rob. If you're listening right now, okay, I'm not going to make any opinion of you. I'll let you come on the show, fair and square. The offer is here. It's out there in the open. Okay, you can come on the Jonathan Phoenix show. We don't even have the show named yet. You know, might just name it the Jonathan Phoenix show. I don't know, but you could come on the show. Me, you, Stevie. We'll have a couple other guests. We'll sit down. You'll have a group around that is going to be non-judgmental, and you can air out what you think is going on here, and Stevie can give a rebuttal. But we're not playing your games. You're either going to come on the show or you're not. You either got the balls to do it or you don't. You're either trying to cover everything up or you want to clear everything out. And this is your chance to do it. I'm offering it to you. If you don't want to do it, it's okay. It just means that you're willing to accept that what everybody else is saying about you and believes is true, to be for face value. And understand that's completely fine. There are plenty of people out in the world that when somebody says something, they ignore it. They don't fight back against it. They just let it ride. And you're more than welcome to do that. But just understand that is the story that people are going to believe about you. And you can't really complain about it because you have a chance to do something about it right now, right here. You contact me, we'll set it up. Could be as soon as January. We could have it at the before January. We could have it on the December 28th episode if you wanted. As soon as you contact me, we set it up. I'll get Stevie on here. I'll get a couple other people on here. We'll have a great time. We'll get this all settled, and we can hash this and put it under the rug and bury it right here, right now, Rob. That's me talking to you. Or, you know, you could just ignore this and let things keep going how they are. But in that case, you really don't have a lot of ground to harass. Stevie.
We're all holding our
Moving on
breath.
from that one.
We're all holding our breath. We're gonna wait with bated breath because we all know that's gonna happen, right? Ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we're
I
probably
love
never going to hear from Rob. But hey, it's out there. It's in the open, and I'm doing that for you, Stevie, and I'm doing that for Rob too, because I don't like seeing all this harassment going on that you're getting. And I figure if I can smash that and put it under the rugs, I'd love to hear his side of the story if he actually wants to tell it. Maybe he does have a actual legitimate side, but we're not going to find out if it tells it. Guys, if you look down at the banner below, you'll be seeing it's Christmas time. You guys can get your stocking stuffed right now with merch from the Carolina Storyteller at the Carolina Storyteller's Printify shop at that link that you see right there at the bottom of your screen. We've got merch from Valmont. We've got merch from the Carolina Storyteller. It helps to put this podcast on and all the other podcasts on. So click that link. Go get you
Yeah,
some
and I
merch.
have a shirt, and I completely forgot. I should have worn it today, but I have it, and I love it, and I'm going to be wearing it on one of my episodes soon. And I'm going to order some of the new designs because I really like them too.
Yeah, I've got the coffee mug, and currently my wife's drinking out of it, so I can't show off the coffee mug. But that's just what happens. Um, Moving along because we're halfway through the show. The next thing I want to talk about, have you guys seen this? It's been going on recently. The Senate is holding hearings about the fact that, and they're now just completely confirming aliens are real. Not only
knew
do
you were gonna say
aliens
that.
exist, but we have alien tech.
Yeah.
Okay,
I've heard
and not only do
various
we have
things
alien,
like this. Yeah.
we have alien tech, and apparently there's alien samples, very degraded and destroyed. we're getting some confirmations that Roswell may have actually been Roswell, what we all thought it was, and not the weather balloon that we were led to believe, or the experimental
Project
military
Mogul. Well, the Project
weapon.
Mogul that they called it. I think they said it was
Yeah.
Project Mogul, or like a spy balloon or something.
Yeah, like all of the things that they claimed it would be at some point in time, it is apparently, well, not that. It's apparently actually the real thing, the real deal. Also, of course, the jet fighters have encountered multiple UFOs over the years, and they're encountering more and more. Fighter pilots are claiming to see them. They can't identify
Yep.
what it is. They don't know what it is. I mean, now granted, it could be China or Russia or some other country has created some amazing technology that we don't know about. Wakanda could be out there flying around their jets, and that's what we think are UFOs. We don't know. All we know is there's something out there that we don't know.
So
How do you?
I've been saying this forever that this stuff's all real. Have you ever talked to someone who's a pilot or was a pilot in the Air Force? Way back in the day. You ever talk to anybody? Because I've got my wife's uncle said that he's seen things. I listened to an episode of the Joe Rogan podcast with Commander David Fravor. You ever listen to that one? That is a fantastic episode, and he goes into great detail about the things that he's seen. And it's always funny to me, all of these sightings that you see, a big majority of them are over the oceans. So I love that theory that was floating around, that aliens are actually here already. They've been here and they're just under the water.
Under the water, the
Yeah,
USO.
that's what I was gonna say.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I love that theory.
Yeah, it makes sense, especially if it's
It's the best place to stay hidden.
Yeah.
We know more about the surface of Mars than we do the bottom of the ocean.
Well, if it's true what Fravor says, where he didn't see any kind of exhaust or any kind of heat signature on these crafts that he saw, if it is some kind of magnetic propulsion system, I mean, it can easily go below water, above water, wherever the hell they need to go. And talk about advanced, man.
I want
That's
that.
insane.
Yeah.
Well, I want that vehicle. I wish I could pilot that thing around. Thing that can
Really
go
here,
I think I
anywhere.
heard
points out
a rumor that
the
they were
term
also
Foo
stopping
Fighters.
the study and research of certain deep sea fish. And they were wondering if that had to do with like how much they've discovered and what they don't want to continue to discover, or don't want the public to know they've discovered.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
That is a possibility. You're absolutely right. Billy a moment ago mentioned the term Foo Fighters, and not only is that a great band, but the fact she mentioned it is that was the military term, as they were called the Foo Fighters.
That's
And
what
it
they
was
used
an
to call
actual
them back in the
listed military
50s.
term. 50s,
Yeah, they were-
60s, and the 40s, 50s, and 60s. They were the Foo Fighters. That's where the first terms came from. Was they didn't know what else to call them, so they called them the Foo Fighters. And then, of course, Eli is stating that maybe that was the Bermuda Triangle this entire time. There's a movie called The Abyss. Have you guys ever seen it?
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
I've heard of it. I can't remember if I've seen
With
it.
NTIs. Okay, so in
That
this
was like
movie,
James Cameron's first. That's a great movie. Everybody should see that movie.
it's a wonderful movie, and I'm talking about, considering when it was made, the special effects are on par. It is basically aliens underwater, but it's not a horror movie. It's more of a fantasy movie. And
I have seen it. I remember it.
they get deep down underwater and end up finding that these creatures are down in the deep down in the deep. And they are completely different from what we would expect them to be. They cannot communicate how we communicate, so they communicate in different ways. And maybe that's what the Bermuda Triangle is. Maybe that's what Eli is getting at, is that the Bermuda Triangle, there's actually some NTIs that just have this entire city down in the Bermuda Triangle. It's weird because I live technically not very far from the Bermuda Triangle. I figured it out because Bermuda is the tip point of the Bermuda Triangle, and it's literally off the East Coast by about, I don't know, 600-700 miles out in the ocean. And the way the line runs down towards Florida, it basically just cuts right by the SC coast. So yeah, I'm technically not far from the Bermuda Triangle, and there could be aliens in the water nearby, and I don't know about it.
Yeah, I think that
which could explain South Carolina and Florida.
Yeah, I think that was James Cameron's movie before he did Terminator, so they use the same special effects. And James Cameron, he did that. He did the Titanic, and he actually goes down in like deep submersibles. He's like actually an expert on underwater travel and stuff. That's kind of crazy. And he made all these movies just to finance that.
Yeah, he loves dealing with deep water, and he loves dealing with aliens. They're two of his favorite things to deal with. And that idea, that movie, basically, I believe it's somewhere in South Carolina. Actually, there's still the tank that had the actual. They actually built this gigantic tank and submerged this set into the tank underwater, so that they could do a lot of the water scenes around this massive thing with people inside, so they could go to the windows and things like that. So this base was actually built in a giant tank underwater, and I believe it's in South Carolina. You can still go see it because it's just sitting there. They didn't have anything to do with it afterwards.
That's
Lots
so
of
cool.
movie sets end up like that. But we're talking about aliens. Back last year in January, there was an incident in Florida where supposedly there was a massive response by police at a mall, and it was because of an alien. Was one of the theories, was that the reason for the response was there was an alien. And I did an episode on this with my co-host Applesauce, who has been traveling the world. They they go everywhere. It's hard to get a hold of Applesauce, or a sentient bowl of applesauce, if you didn't know. And we did an episode on this, and we talked about the aliens. And I was a little skeptical. I'm like, really? What do you guys think? You think that was an alien in Florida last year?
You're talking about the Miami
remember
Mall,
that.
right?
Yeah.
The Miami Mall.
I don't remember hearing
Yeah.
about this.
I 100% do, because when you look at the response, when you look at the law enforcement response to that mall, they're trying to tell you that it was a response to a bunch of kids fighting.
Yes.
Right? So they're trying to tell you that 10 to 20 kids fighting in a mall in Miami. So this mall is huge, right? 10 to 20 kids, they needed that response. It was every squad car in the city of Miami showed up at that mall. There's not a chance in hell. I've seen grainy footage of like tall shadows or figures and stuff, and people are like, it's never a clear image with this kind of stuff. It's the same as Bigfoot. No, man, that police presence alone tells me that something crazy was happening.
I agree. Yeah, that was what got me, was the police presence. Everyone was saying there's no way a fight between some kids, like there's no way that it would pull the entire. Like, didn't they have other counties or other towns police coming in too?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They had not only was it Miami-Dade, but they had adjoining agencies. They also had federal response on scene.
There were choppers. They
They
getting footage of this.
And of course, their initial response, at first it was somebody lit off firecrackers. Then there was a fight.
Yeah.
Then there were so many different descriptions of the scene. But when you talk to people on the scene, they were running. Everybody was running from something. Some people didn't even know what they were running from.
Yeah.
Some people, they've learned, Cedric the Entertainer, has taught us that when you see a brother running, you just start running too. You don't know why we're running, but you just run. You assume that he's running to save his life, and you just start running too. And believe it or not, this is how marathons get started. One guy's running, somebody else starts running. The next thing you know, you got 300 people running down the street, and nobody knows why. And just first guy was out for a jog. But
Eli,
somebody running.
Read his comment there. So how many people do you think got neuralized? Man, that's something I thought about. I was going to say it too. When Jonathan was done, I was going to say, man, that thing's real. I feel like that Men in Black neuralizer is real. It has to be.
Yeah. A lot of people said that their memories were fuzzy too, that they remember seeing like a 10-foot tall creature, but they couldn't, like, it was fuzzy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So like the silence from Doctor Who. That's what we've got going on.
I feel like there was Doctor Who references, because someone said something about they thought they saw a portal open up in the mall.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
There were so many people talking about it. There were so many TikToks of people saying, I was there. It's weird how I don't remember. Someone's like, well, people keep asking why didn't we film it, and like he's like, I don't even know, like I didn't even think about filming it. That was not a process, like a thought process I had.
Yeah, it's really weird when you listen to the people that were there, that had seen it live, that witnessed it. Their stories are all kind of hazy. They're like, we're not really sure what was happening. We just know that something happened, and
This is the first time hearing about any of this. So
Really,
yeah,
it's a crazy story. You should definitely
it
check it
sounds
out.
crazy.
really
Yeah,
is. It really
we-
is crazy. It happened
We
last
covered it
year.
on our show a little bit too. My co-hosts were not as keen on the idea that it was real as I was. But I mean, even in Miami, man, even if
don't
it was
know.
gunshots, you're not bringing the entire force plus other
Yeah.
departments.
I don't know what it could
If there's
be.
not
I mean,
enough answers, I can't believe what's being said by the mainstream media.
Billy asks if anybody thinks that the neuralizer could explain Florida Man. I don't think anything can explain Florida Man, except for the fact that Carolina woman is apparently coming for the Florida Man title.
How do you
and
guys
we
feel
covered that at the
about
start of the episode.
the airplane lady? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, the lady that kept saying that's not human, that's not human, and was
Oh,
freaking
yes.
out. Like,
and
yeah,
walking off the plane.
oh
Um,
yeah,
Yeah,
like that
yeah,
was
she's
Everyone
a
saying
like
big
that
a
was
one.
fashion
staged.
influencer now.
You know, and again, these things are happening more and more. The government's now saying, well, yeah, aliens are real. So where do we draw the line at accusing people of being aliens and things like that?
I mean, I don't
Because
know about
is
that.
that
I
is
mean,
that going to be the new thing?
There's a lot
I
of
don't know.
crazy stuff going on, man. What is it? The monuments that pop up. What are they called?
The
obelisk?
Yeah,
Monoliths. Yeah, the
Monoliths.
monoliths.
yeah, the
They
monolith.
pop up and they all look the same, just varying in height, and then they disappear without notice.
Yeah,
That's pretty strange too, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
it
the Georgia
definitely.
Guidestones being exploded.
Yes.
That
So
is
much
actually
crazy
stuff.
sad to
Yeah.
me. No, the Georgia Guidestones is such an interesting story, and it's one I haven't covered yet on the Carolina Storyteller. But the fact that somebody actually went and destroyed it is actually really sad to me because, that was just, you know, interesting.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Eli says that the reason the lady on the airplane went the way she did was because her edibles kicked in.
A lot of
That
people
is
said that.
entirely possible.
Yeah, I
That is
mean, it
entirely
could be a
possible, Scott.
delusion of some kind, or she could have had a psychological episode of some kind. So,
A lot of
She
people said she
said-
was really
PCP.
drunk too.
yeah,
She had one of those moments of popping one, and then an hour later, these edibles ain't. And she
Oh.
pops another one, and then
Yeah.
yeah, the
Double time,
every
baby.
beginner's mistake. Yep.
And Sherilyn's
Mhm.
talking about people being lizards. We covered the lizard man last week, and he won his round last week, and that's a good reason for me to segue now since we're talking about lizard people, lizard man.
Yeah, this is a show about
cryptids.
cryptids, isn't it?
South Carolina. This is what we're ending the show with. So we're coming into the tail end of the show. So it's time to get into it. We discussed aliens. Let's discuss cryptids. Last week we had the battle between Bigfoot and the Lizard Man, and the Lizard Man won out because, well, South Carolina is a giant swamp. This week we're going to be talking about the man who paid for the Guidestones is still unidentified. You're absolutely right, Billy. But this week we're going to be talking about two other cryptids from the state of South Carolina. We're going to be talking about the Appalachian knot deer and the Gullah plaid-eye. Now, do you guys know anything about these two, or do I have to kind of give you the whole spiel?
Yeah.
I've heard of the
I've-
first one, but I don't know anything
heard-
about it.
I've
I
heard about the
don't know
plaid eye
about
a little bit.
Okay, so we're going to start with the Appalachian knot deer. Now, this is an interesting creature because it exists mainly in the lower Appalachians on down to the foothills of South Carolina. This is a creature that resembles a deer, but is not a deer. Here are the examples. And now, last week, Eli threw up some pictures of it, but I don't have those this week, so I'm just going to have to tell you what I know. Some examples. They seem apparently deformed. They can walk on two legs at times. Their necks appear to be positioned in a way that does not And as EMTs say, they have movement that is non-compatible with life, meaning that they're next to not be able to move that way and them still be alive. Um, Unlike normal deer, which have softer, flatter teeth, they have sharp, pointy teeth. Their eyes
What
seem
is it called? I'm gonna try to
not
Google
deer.
a picture of this. How do I spell that? Not
Not Notdeer. Not deer.
N-O-T-E-E. Not deer. I can see what kind of images I can
Like,
find. See some
and
drawings.
understand, it's creepy because these things are, I mean, they're deer, but they're not deer. You look at them and you go, that's not a deer, but it certainly looks like a deer. And these things are, they're found in the Appalachians and in parts of South Carolina. And a lot of people believe that they are a threat to human beings. The Appalachians believe in them. I heard the episode on the Plaid Eye. That was an early one for the Carolina Storyteller. It's absolutely right. We did the Plaid Eye. I think it was like episode 8 was the Plaid Eye. So if you go back into Carolina Storyteller, go find episode 8. You'll find out about the Plaid Eye, but I'm about to tell you about it. But so the knot deer, one of their defining characteristics is that if they see humans, they don't run for the hills like normal deer would. They'll stick around and they'll come for you. So that's one of the defining characteristics of the knot deer. Other than that, you know, they're not skittish around humans. Um, in fact, we believe that we have at least 2 on the site where I work security at, because as we're riding along the fence, there are a couple of like deformed deer that just look at us like we're crazy as we're riding by, and you know, they look at me like I look at tacos, and I'm like, no, I'm not dealing with you. I'm glad you're on the other side of that fence. So then we come to the knot deer is going to be going up against today the plaid eye. Now, for those of you who don't know, the plaid eye is a Gullah legend. So it is more down on the coast of South Carolina, and it's known to live in woods and swamps and forests. But the legend stretches from basically up towards Myrtle Beach, Pawleys Island, Litchfield area, all the way down to Savannah and almost down to Brunswick, Georgia. So it's the coast of South Carolina and Georgia is covered by this thing. The plaid eye is considered a shapeshifter. It appears as a small creature that preys upon fear and likes to drive its victims insane before devouring them. It is identifiable by, in the center of its face, is a large, deformed, singular red eye. So it's basically Cyclopsian.
How do I spell this one?
Plateye.
Plat E-Y-E. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now,
It's like,
now some people have said that plaid eyes are actually vengeful spirits who they get killed out in the woods by some horrible means, and they come back seeking to seek revenge by um, taking others, basically. And the legend and the story of the plaid eye is a famous one down here, and it's been told by some great storytellers in the past. And of course, I have my version of it, the plaid eye, that's on the Carolina Storyteller. But so the question that I pose to you guys is that we have these 2 cryptids in South Carolina. For some reason, these 2 cryptids meet. Who's going to come out the winner? Who's going to take it? Is it going to be the shape-shifting plaid eye or the cannibalistic knot deer?
I'm going with the Plaid Eye. This thing looks amazing. I'm just
I
looking
haven't
at
thought
various
of it.
pictures of this or drawings of this thing. It looks, yeah, like it's like a wolf with like
If
a
you'd like
red
to
eye
share,
in
I
the
believe you
middle.
could share your screen if you want to.
I'm going to take
Yeah.
the knot deer on this one. And the reason being, if the plaid eye is, it feeds off of fear, sounds like the knot deer is not afraid of shit. I mean, stuff, things.
That's
I don't know if I'm
true.
allowed to do that on your show. But anyway,
I believe
yeah,
we
if the
curse
knot
here.
deer's not afraid, then, I mean, it's got to take the win here, right?
My only thing about that is if the Plaid Eye is a shapeshifter, then it can turn into anything.
The plaid eye looks pretty vicious. I don't know. The claws are getting me on the plaid eye. I
See?
think they went out.
I'm with Eli.
So
Does the
see,
not deer have enough brain for the plaid eye to drive it insane?
I mean, that is the thing is that now, granted, the plaid eyes do, they trap people, they drive them in. Oh, Trav's got his, what do we got here? We're going to add this to the stage, see what Trav's showing us. So these are pictures of plaid eye. Yes. So, as the problem is that, when you look at them, you don't exactly see it until you get up close, but they have one eye instead of two eyes.
Yeah, I
Their
think
eyes are combined together in one glowing red, like
They
freaking
got their
Knight Rider-ish laser thing.
entrails hanging out.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, why
they
is
can look
that? Why are the
horrible and
entrails
scary. Because they live on fear, so they're trying to drive you insane. They do everything they
Okay.
can to drive people insane. They are monstrous creatures. And
Would that tactic work
um,
on another monster?
that's a good question. That's a good question. But they are. And now here's the other thing to think about plaid eye is that the larger the prey, the less likely they are to prey upon it. They typically go for children, small animals.
Things that
They don't
scare
like
easily.
going for. Yeah, they don't like going for big. You hear about them. They don't like going for big, brawny guys. And I think the reason for that is because the plaid-eye themselves are not very large. So the knot deer is significantly larger, but
Hmm.
the plaid-eye does have the element of surprise. The plaid-eye does have, the ability to climb, which the knot deer do not apparently. Plaid-eyes are known to hide in trees. Plaid-eyes can go as far as mimicking the voice of another human being. In fact, they have been known to use the voices of missing children to lure mothers out, mothers to lure children out, friends to draw other people in. So, the plaid eye is a little trickster. Plaid eyes are devious. Plaid eyes have got the brains going, but is that enough to stop the knot deer's bronze? Now we've got
Well,
one for the knot deer.
like Corey said, that they're doing everything to scare everybody and they're feeding on the fear, but the not deer, they're not afraid of shit. So not deer is just gonna be like, yeah, whatever, but you ain't shit, motherfucker.
So we're giving it to the knot deer for Trav and Corey. Stevie, you have yet to weigh in. What is your decision? Are we going to have a unanimous run for the knot deer?
I think the knot deer is scarier. It's a little more calculated, it seems, from the stories I've heard of it. I don't know much about the plaid eye as I do the knot deer, but the knot deer seems like it could out trick the plaid eye, I think.
I think I would rather go up against the knot deer than the plaid eye, but that's because the plaid eye is so scary. The plaid eye is just trying to scare you and get into your mind, and that's what it feeds off of. But that's not going to work on the deer.
The plaid eye does everything it can to get you lost, disoriented, and afraid.
Yes.
Okay. The knot deer doesn't care if it's lost, disoriented, or afraid. And
I was going to say, it sounds like to me
crap.
like the knot deer is already lost and disoriented. So
yeah, it doesn't seem like
that's its natural state of things.
From learning now about the plaid eye, it seems like it's scarier.
So we are giving this.
The knot deer is,
even though the plaid eye is scarier, the knot deer wins just because the plaid eye doesn't have anything it can use against the knot deer.
Yep.
Is that what we're saying?
That's
the knot deer is a secret weapon against the plaid eye.
Which explains why the plaid eye never killed me out in the woods where I work at, because I kept telling everybody there was something in the woods, and we've now cleared that big section of woods. And honestly, it feels different after they tore the woods down. There's this big section of woods out next to where I work that I always was creeped out about. And it's maybe like 20 acres of woodlands that's now been cleared for a construction project. But I'm always looking at it going, yeah, that place kind of freaks me the frick out. I don't like that. I would not be going into those woods. There's something wrong with those woods. And I was telling everybody, plaid eye in the woods, plaid eye in the woods
out there. Could be some dead bodies buried out there.
Well, that's just it. Dead bodies would be what creates the plaid eye by the legend. If there's a if there is somebody that has been killed and then just buried out there, their spirit turns into the plaid eye. It becomes this creature that's seeking vengeance on everyone because it was wrongfully killed. So that would be a great reason for there to be a plaid eye.
Ooh.
It sounds like they
So
could
if it's
both
a
really
jumping
just be a
ground, so there are multiple
skinwalker.
plaid eye. Sorry.
It's okay.
Huh? Yeah, there could be
Go
multiple.
ahead, Corey.
Well, no, the skinwalker and the plaid eye are different. In that the plaid eye does not assume your form, and the plaid eye does not come out of its hunting ground. So plaid eyes are very territorial. They stick to their area. It's kind of like a spider. If you walk into its web, then it's going to come for you. But if you walk by, it can't do anything. You just, I can't get that sucker. He didn't come in here. And that is why it
Interesting.
does the calls that it does. That's why it will sound like, it's got that mental thing that it links up to your head. So, your best friend Joe, you haven't seen in 10 years, it'll sound like Joe to draw you into the woods because then you were in its net, but it won't come out after you. The not deer will come right up to a fence and look at me and go, "What you doing?" Meanwhile, 12 other deer are running and this thing's got its head crooked around upside down staring at me. I mean, I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah. All the plaid eyes
But we are-
weapons are uniquely suited to go against humans. It's a unique way of just infiltrating into our minds and just doing that. But that's not going to work on some other creature that just doesn't give a shit and doesn't have any fear. It's just like whatever.
So while the plaid eye may be the most terrifying, most dangerous against humans, when it comes to the grand scheme of South Carolina cryptids, it just cannot hold up against the other three, is what we're saying. And the plaid
Mhm.
eye thus loses this battle, and this battle goes to the not deer. That's what we're saying. So next week, ladies and gentlemen, I can't believe it, but it's been decided. Next week, it will be the not deer versus the lizard man for the South Carolina Cryptid Championship. And I really don't know how this one's going to go because you got the lizard man, who is basically just this vicious giant walking lizard that attacks and rips up cars, and the not deer. We're going to have this out next week, folks. The championship round is going to happen. Well, not next week, in 2 weeks. I'm sorry. In 2 weeks on December 14th. I don't know who's going to be here to judge that one. We might have some returning guests. We might have some new guests, but we're going to have that out. I want to take a moment to thank all of my guests and give them a second to plug their stuff. Trav, Midgard's album Damage is out. It's a great
Yes.
album. Anything you want to say about that before we
No,
outta
you
here?
can get it at our Bandcamp, Midgard, on our Bandcamp page. And then if you want to follow me, I have a TikTok, Travis Entropy on. I think that's it. Let me pull it up on my phone real quick. Yep, just Travis _ Entropy, and I think that's the same on. Yep, there's our. If I also have a few I can give away if or sell to somebody if you want to get some. If you haven't gotten any yet, you can check it out on all the streaming platforms. You can follow me on TikTok. I do a lot of guitar videos where I do guitar covers and stuff on TikTok and some other stuff. And I think you can also find me on Instagram. So that's all I have.
Corey, up next, where are we going to find you at other than Valmont? What do we got going on with you, buddy?
All right. So my show is NDT Podcast, stands for Nonsense and Deep Thoughts. We cover a wide variety of topics, all sorts of different things. You can find us at ndtpodcast.com. You can check out all things there. The live shows are on Facebook and on YouTube and on Twitch, all at NDT Podcast. If you're into WWE and all things wrestling, you can check out our TikTok page over there at NDT Squared Circle Sessions. We have a lot of fun with the wrestling show. So our live shows, they're weekly. We do one variety show, one wrestling show every week. We do a gaming show every other week. Variety shows Sunday or Monday. We alternate every week to, make time for our co-host. He's got a weird work schedule. Then the wrestling show is every Tuesday or Wednesday, alternating back and forth. Right now, we have a couple of charity things going on. So we have a 1995 to 1997 Derek Jeter signed baseball up for auction over on our website, ndtpodcast.com/auction. The highest bidder will get to take that, and all proceeds from that go to the Ronald McDonald House charity in Danville, PA, which is a local one that I used recently when we had our daughter. We were in the NICU for 52 days. It was crazy, but it's an amazing charity. We also have on our website for sale for $1 a piece, 5 different tracks from our holiday album. We are not professional musicians like Travis up here, but we decided to make a holiday album anyway.
I'm not a professional either,
you're a professional. I don't want to hear it. So you can buy those songs. That the proceeds is going to go towards the holiday toy drive in our local area up here in Northeast PA. So that's all the cool stuff I got going on.
All right, and as I said, last but certainly not least, Stevie, Truth or Demons, tell me what's going on over there.
Right now, I'm just finishing up my Arnie Cheyenne Johnson case, so I can talk about that and the murder of Alan Bono. And I recently started doing lives, so if you like the live episodes where I answer random questions, talk about random little mini deep dives, I do that. I try to do it once a week, random days, usually Friday, but whenever I can. And I've got a bunch of little bonus episodes coming out too. I got some listener stories I want to do, some little mini deep dives on some locations I visited this year and stuff like that. So if you search Truth or Demons podcast on any platform, podcast platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, I post all that stuff there. And if you ever have any requests for subject matter, I love doing mini deep dives. So just hit me up.
Are you still going to be doing the live paranormal investigations like you did a couple of months ago?
Yes, we were going to do one tonight, but it's been rescheduled due to some people getting sick, and we don't want anybody to miss out. So I do them in Middle Tennessee, location in Gallatin, and I do them at the Night House in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. If you want to check that place out, it's amazing. It's the Night House, and it's Night, KNIGHT, and then House, KY for Kentucky.com. So the nighthouseky.com, and you'll get all the information on about a really cool historic house that is reported to be haunted, but it's also 200 years old. It is being brought back to good standing by its new owners, and they're doing all kinds of cool renovations, and they're also doing ghost tours. So, and the owner is Eric Freeman Sims. He's a cool guy. Check him out. And the Unseen Paranormal podcast is his show. He's awesome to work with. You guys would probably really like his show too.
Cool.
That sounds awesome. And honestly, one day I'm going to get up there to the Night House with you. I know we keep saying I'm going to do it, but I want to. Plus, I got to get up to Hopkinsville anyway because I want to go see where the goblins were, which is not too far.
And they're
from
doing
the Night
a
House, so
convention for that next year, I believe.
that's probably when I'll be up there because I'll probably have to go to the convention. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you all for being here. It was really wonderful having you guys. To you guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for being part of the show. Remember, Valmont drops tonight at midnight. When it turns December 1st, Valmont will be live, and you guys can check it out on any podcast platform, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio. It's going to be out there. Look for Valmont, the Black Raven Chronicles. Check out Corey, Stevie, and Trav. They're all going to be on the show. We've got 12 episodes coming out over the next year for season 1, and I promise you it is going to be epic. Everybody's really excited about it. You can catch the next episode of this show, the lives, 2 weeks from now. We're going to have the Cryptid Finals, more fun stuff, all kinds of great stuff. Remember, you could support this show and the Carolina Storyteller and Valmont, the Black Raven Chronicles by going to patreon.com/The Carolina Storyteller. Thank you so much for being here, and guys, have a great night.
Later.
See ya.
Bye.